Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Misa from kinsmade.etsy.com, and I wanted to do some nail art with you today, featuring Orange Peel by Bundle Monster, Pit-a-Pat by Kiss Gel Strong, Dollar Store, and this is a jamberry called Ice Kissed. So a lot of times I see on the message boards, forums, and Facebook posts that, y'all are looking for a particular theme, but you don't have a matching stamping plate. And if you're like me, you can't draw worth a darn. And so what's a girl to do, right? So I'm going to show you today what I do when I'm in such a pickle. I just make a little traced decal with my Sharpie. And of course, this is the secret sauce to any good decal, is the Wet n Wild Clear Nail Protector. This is just clear nail polish. It is not top coat or base coat. And you just paint down a piece and dry it. You print off something that fits your nail. Oops. Whoa, sorry, hit the camera there. Sorry, guys. That's live. That's live for you. So here you can see I've kind of just made this template so that I can see which of these is going to fit my nails. But for the camera today, I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit with the largest one, just to make it a little easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. It's just a hint. Whoa, it's a wicked camera shake there, guys. I'm sorry. Thought I had set it up just right. And of course, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to be in the way of the camera. But you're just going to trace all of those very carefully with as fine of a point of Sharpie as you can find. Just trace this off for you real quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. You guys know that nail art is kind of a little bit better when it looks hand done. And it's still going to be better than I would draw freehand by miles and miles and miles. Try to resist the urge to go back over. If you're not hitting the line just perfectly, just make it work. You're the only one who knows. Okay. Now this you want to let completely dry. Flip it over so you can see. See, I only did one of the lines. I missed a little bit. Go back over and give him another line there. He's not perfect. Cut on a curved nail. No one's gonna mind too much, so just sorry, did that again. All right, guys. So I'm gonna back paint just a little bit of him. You can use a brush. I kind of prefer using my dotting tool. It dries a little faster when you use a brush, but I find it kind of easier to just go. I don't know why his eyes are blue, but I was looking in the cartoon and his eyes are blue. I'm gonna do his hat. His hat really should be a different blue, but this is what I've grabbed. Okay. You do want to think about the opacity and the color that you've painted for your foundation color. I have this really bright, what did I use? I used OPI's No Tan Lines, which is kind of a bright little color on this. So I want to think about the opacity. So when I reach for a white for Donald Duck, I'm going to go ahead and use a stamping polish so that I get the opacity that I want. Gonna dot it in here willy-nilly. Sure you girls can take your time and do a better job than I'm doing here. Grab my Bundle Monster orange peel. I'll do a little bit of this beak. And some of that I'm gonna go ahead and leave clear because that background color is gonna come right up through. Okay, and I'm gonna set that aside. You girls, I'm doing this on a clear chopping mat from Dollar Tree. That's the mat that I was using. I'm gonna need my template right now. Well, let's see, I'll go ahead and leave this down because I'm gonna work on this part. Okay, I'm gonna show you what I've done for stamping. This is my own little homemade blank negative space template. I made one for you in a previous video, so if you want to look up how to do that, you don't have to buy a negative space, blank space plate. You can do this just with some packaging tape and one of those clear chopping mats. So I'm going to show you how I kind of cheat. I'm not really a fan of latex, but I do have some latex down on my thumb, but I'm going to show you on my finger how I just use tape to pull off the majority of it. You guys can decide which technique you like best. But one thing you definitely, let's see here, I'm going to get both my lids off. Okay, let's see here, I'll do my thumb, make sure you guys can see. See what I'm doing here? Just putting it outside of the image, getting it kind of heavy. Whoa. And same thing with my orange. I want it pretty heavy. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scraping card, I'm going to set it in the pile, and I'm just going to kind of mush it a slight bit, and then grabbing as much as I can to squeegee over the top and laying down at a really drastic angle. I'm going to give it a couple of scrapes. Grab my stamper, and I've picked that up. Let's see, I'm going to get my sunset on the right portion. I'm just going to look through the nail, through the stamper at the nail. Oh, and I stretched my nail a little bit. I stretched the stamper a little bit and got that little goofiness. Oops. Now, because I have watched the opacity on those, I could probably get away without doing a second layer, which is what I'm going to do. It's not the most perfect gradient ever, but it is really simple and really fast. And with that liquid latex barrier, I'm not going to have any cleanup at all. We'll leave that on until we're done stamping. I'm going to do it again here. For my finger. Okay, I'll just demonstrate it for you one more time. I'm just going to zigzag just a short amount. Lay it down very drastically and scrape. A couple scrapes. I kind of like that it's streaky when you're doing a sunset in particular. Streaky is not really a bad thing when you're trying to paint a sunset or a landscape in general. Kind of gives it a little more variety. So then what I do, and this isn't going to work very well because of the stamping polish, but I like to just get some Scotch tape. If this were regular polish, it would definitely pick up a little bit better. Stamping polish, you know, is a little bit messier. Doesn't dry as quick and adheres to the Bundle Monster, though, doesn't adhere that badly to your skin. So I find that I can usually do this, and then I have minimal acetone pickup at the end. Okay. Just gonna clean off my card a little bit. I'm gonna set this aside because I am finished. I'm just gonna do one hand for you girls. I couldn't quite decide whether to use the Kiss Gel Strong or the LA Colors 111. Both of them worked really well. This one was a little paler, a little less opaque, so I decided I would go ahead and stick with the Kiss Gel Strong. And I love this color. I use it a lot in my nail art because it's not quite a purple and not quite a gray. And it's just kind of interesting because of that. I thought it would be fun to put Donald Duck on a ball field theme. So I'm gonna stamp on some chain link fence. Again, I'm gonna use my tape because I find that the quickest and easiest way to clean up stamping debris. And you can get in tight. I like that too. Okay. Good enough. I don't know if you guys can see this, what I actually do. Give you a little tip here. So this is my, dollar store cotton claw. I'm gonna get it wet with some acetone to clean this off. And then just so I don't ruin the finish of my table, I just set this inside of a little baby jar. Set that aside. That might help somebody save a piece of furniture someday. Between me and my 4-year-old, we have completely wrecked my dining room table. I wish I could blame him for the majority, but I can't. Got a good pickup on that. And off camera, I'm just using a lint roller to clean off my stamper. This is my CC and Sissy stamping or stamper. It has interchangeable heads, which I quite like. It's kind of a different stamper. If you guys haven't seen the other tapered head that goes with it, it's pretty neat. I don't have it handy here. Oh, I do. Yes, I do actually. That's the tapered head. It's kind of nice for really small detail, fine detail. Picking up smaller images without picking up the surrounding ones. It's kind of handy, and it just pops right into that. Definitely a different tool than, yeah, I probably needed 2 scrapes on that. Do over. Okay. Sometimes on acrylic plates you end up over scraping because the polish is so visible, the leftover polish, but there's usually not a need to scrape twice. Sure wish I could place this in a way that would cover my little boo-boo there. I had a little gap in my polish right there that kind of kind of cleared up nicely. We're kind of covered over nicely with that. That's a busy pattern. This chain link is a busy pattern. It'll probably cover nicely. Okay, one more on my pinky. If you girls are ever having trouble getting a little white, I'm not having any trouble with it, but if you're having any bubbles in here, then go ahead and paint the whole thing and just kind of scrub the polish down in. That'll help you avoid some of those little bubbles that get trapped down in those channels. Wish I could remember who taught me that little trick. Okay, well, so that's, now you've seen the way I do a cheater version of a gradient. And I will remove this. Try to remove this latex barrier for you. So you can see how it does make cleanup very easy. But I think I would still go in and clean that up with some acetone before I call it good. But I'm going to skip over to the Donald Duck portion. The plate we're using is from my private line. It is, we just call it our green sports plate. Most of it is kind of odd games and things you don't really see on plates typically. I do have a few of these left. You guys can contact me if you're wanting to obtain one. Okay. Hopefully we've got one dry enough. I hope this works. So we're picking this up, and this is a very thin layer. Typically I would do 2 layers. To make sure that he was nice and strong. The marker does bleed a tiny bit. And what do I want to put this on with? I think what I was planning to do is go ahead and put it on with another coat of this. You can also use that dollar store, I think it's called Super Dry or Rapid Dry. That stuff works really nice when you're just trying to get a little decal on real quick, but I'll just go with one more coat. Of the OPI. I kind of like that. It's a little more subtle. That grayish, purplish gray is a little more subtle than black. I tend to not like the stark contrast of black. I'm just stalling to give this a minute to set up. I don't want to put it on a completely wet nail. I just want it to still be tacky. So you guys might think about other things that you can use to trace. I went through my son's little books. Let me show you a page I found in here I thought would be so cute. And one fish, red fish. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Oh, I thought, wouldn't she make the cutest little story with all her little hair being traced for her little poodle, and then have these going, all these scrolly hairdo going all over the other nails. I thought that would be a cute kind of story themed manicure. And this one, oh my goodness, there are so many little things going on that would fit on a nail. You know, into Dr. Seuss, that might not be your thing, but you know, you guys will notice that you'll be able to do logos. You know, I could capture the Soothing Soul logo and get that right on my nail. It would be absolutely stunning. You know, your China glaze would be easy enough to trace, although it might look a little wobbly. Some of your logos, but just about anything that you can print off on your computer. Greeting cards, you'll find little emblems of greeting cards, little teddy bears. So you're not really limited anymore to the stamps that, you know, the stamping images that you have on your plates. So, oops, of course I bumped the camera. Whenever I'm trying to really show you something, I bump the camera. Okay, I didn't get this on straight, but I've already committed, so. Okay, so I could just use my fingers to lay it down. I could use one of those little sponge application, like those eyeshadow brushes, to kind of burnish it down. I think what I'm going to do is just kind of push at it with a clean stamper. My nails are so curvy. So my placement is a little off, but you girls you'll be able to perfect that. And I've got some wrinkling here. Probably should have waited and got out my little eyeshadow applicator. That's usually how I burnish these down. Okay, let me grab a tool. I got this from Lantern and Wren. It has a little brush, and at the end it has a decal cutter. It's not sharp enough to really cut yourself, but if you push against the nail, it does give you a pretty good separation. I haven't had a lot of practice with it. I actually used to use a X-Acto knife before I got this tool, which I would not suggest doing. It's definitely dangerous. I was always afraid my 4-year-old was going to catch me doing it. I'm just going to use the edge of my nail to cut off the excess, to help me tear the excess off. Tiny bit still up here, but you know, we're going to go around the edges with some acetone here in a second. All of that is going to lay down just fine. Okay, just going to grab some top coat. I love this top coat. It's getting really sticky though. I hope I can get this on for you. You usually don't have too much smearing with this technique because you do have that layer of clear nail polish at the top at this point. Just tame down any little edges that look like they want to pop up. And I flooded my sidewall here. Okay. Anyway, there he is in all his glory. And so all I'll do is I'll just top coat this and clean it up. Oops, did it again. Just clean it up with this little brush that I got at the dollar store. I'll get some acetone on it, just clean up those little edges after I top coat, and all will be well. Look, I've got some lifting right here. Now that it's wet, still tacky enough to get it to lay down. So, okay. I'll just babysit that for a few minutes till that quick dry top coat has time to set. Thank you guys for joining me. Again, this is kinsmade.etsy.com. That's where you can find my products, and I hope you guys will like and subscribe. I try to bring you really unique ideas and methods. I like to think about people who, don't have a budget, teenagers, young ones that are not yet even in the workforce, and you'd like to do something fabulous, but with very few tools or even cheap tools. So have fun, guys, with these new techniques. Thank you.